All right, welcome in another episode of Offseason Grades here on Field of 68. I'm Jeff Goodman, joined by Randolph Childress, and today it is time to talk about the roller coaster North Carolina Tar Heels. I mean, how else do you describe them though, RC? It's been a roll. If you're a Carolina fan in the Hubert Davis era, you have gone on a complete roller coaster ride, have you not?
It's so weird, Jeff, because when you take away the name and you take 90% of the programs and you go national runner up,
Yeah.
no tournament, what, Sweet 16,
Yeah, ACC title, regular season
ACC
title,
title,
Sweet 16,
and make the NCAA tournament
barely.
3 or 4 years. But you make it.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Hey, if that resume goes to anyone else, coach of the year, ACC coach of the year in that time frame, and those 4 years, every program probably in the ACC outside of Duke and Carolina would sign up for that right now.
Yeah. You're right. You're
They
right.
would sign up right now. Louisville, you telling me Louisville wouldn't take that, even
In a
as good as
heartbeat.
they've been right now? Everyone else takes that
Yeah.
resume in a heartbeat. So, having said that, and it's so weird because we're coming into this year with Hubert, and it feels like no one in the country has more pressure on them to be successful
Yeah.
than Hubert Davis. Like having said all that, that's the way it feels.
But
And
that's
so,
accurate. That's
no,
accurate.
it is.
If you're a Carolina fan, you are super frustrated because let's face it, 3 of the 4 years, you've either been on the bubble or on the outside of the bubble
Right,
going into the stretch drive, right? They barely get in this year in the first four,
right,
and then they bow out in the first round. Obviously the run to the championship game was magical, but it came out of nowhere. They got hot at the right time. And now you look at this year's team and it's completely revamped, right? RJ Davis finally gone. Felt like he'd
right,
been there 20 years.
right.
Elliot Cadeau, Ian Jackson, Ben Allen Lubman all transfer. Drake Powell goes to the draft, goes in the first round.
Yep.
So what we said was the weakness a year ago was clearly the front court, right?
Right,
Clearly. Last
right.
year, the strength was you had RJ Davis back, you had Ian Jackson coming in, you had Cadeau as your point guard. Now it's really flipped. They brought in Jim Tanner, a veteran, experienced NBA agent who had been doing a long time, Carolina alum, brought in to be the GM. And I've questioned it a little bit. I just don't know if that's the right GM for me. If I was hiring a guy, I would hire a guy who's been in the trenches, who knows what's going on. Because, like, I bet Jim Tanner has no idea who half these agents are who are representing players these days. And he's been so outside. He hasn't been involved in really college basketball. Now, again, they did a good job, I guess, putting together this team. I mean, you look at it, and they paid a couple million to get Henry Visar early, which
Right.
we all said they needed a big. They weren't going to strike out on a big again.
No, they
They
got
had
him.
to get a big. They did it with Visar. They got Seth Trimble back. They brought in a point guard and Kyron Evans from Colorado State, who's more shooter than distributor. Um, and then they got some good freshmen. They do.
Right.
Caleb
They do.
Wilson, man, he is fun to watch. He is long, he is rangy, he is wiry, he is athletic. Derek Dixon's talented. They got some players. What do
And
you
then
make overall of this roster when you look at
I love it. And I
it?
think I'm gonna tell you why. Because as
Whoa.
much as we say we can't say what we end up doing with Hubert is we're always put stipulations on it, and I get it. At the end of the day, the results are the results. I don't care how he got to the national championship. He got there,
Yeah.
right? It's like, oh, we weren't that good. I don't care. He got there. Like you can, and but that's the problem that I'm saying with Hubert. It's so much outside, noise with that. Can this team? The key to this team will be can they have to get off to a good start. I mean, from the very beginning, he's played an incredibly challenging schedule. And let's face it, too. The other part of this is that he's just being compared to what Shire has done and Shire has just crushed it from day one.
But shouldn't he be?
No, he should. It's the job. It's just nature of the
Yes.
job. I'm not saying he shouldn't be.
Yeah.
It's the nature of the job. No one knows that more than he does. Um, But I also say, just like we're talking about, some of this is on a university as well, in the sense of you're just behind in how you were adapting to get agents and everything else. Duke been at the head of this thing for forever, bringing in with their GM and they've been at the head of this anyway. Duke has already found his niche and how they were doing it. So Tanner coming in there, his relationship with other agents is a big part of why they're able to get so much done. I like the group because again, they went to me. It's almost like they went against everything they had last year. They went more with positional size. I think they're bigger. They're more athletic. Um, Say what we want. I mean, Elliot Cadeau, as much as we raved about him, when he got into conference play, you didn't guard him. You just sat in the lane and said, "Go ahead and shoot." So it made it more difficult for what his strength was in moving the basketball and making guys better. And you couple that with you had R.J. Davis, you had Ian Jackson, you had Seth Trumbull. It was just so many guys that had the ball in their hands that were better with the ball in their hands. And even R.J. Davis was more of a scorer than he was shooter.
Yeah.
I think this year they've gotten better at. I think Kyan Evans is more of what they need. A guy that when the ball's out of his hands, it's going to play through Wilson. You're going to play through Vassar. You're going to play through, and let's not forget, Jaron Stevenson's coming in there. He's going to add some depth and quality depth for these guys. I love what they've done. I think they got a huge opportunity to quiet everyone early. I just think they are forced to get off to a fast start because I think it'll be impossible to keep the outside noise. If this team struggles early like it did a year ago, then I don't know how they dig themselves out of it.
So the good thing for them is you open Central Arkansas at home. They can get Kansas at home.
Right,
Kansas isn't overpowering this year. Radford, NC Central, Navy at home. So
right,
four of your first five are at home in bye games.
right,
So even if you lose to Kansas at home, which to me is a coin flip game because Kansas has a completely revamped roster as well, and their best
right.
player is a freshman. Um, then it gets a little bit, St. Bonaventure, Michigan State, at Kentucky. Then Georgetown at home, USC Upstate at home,
Yeah.
East Tennessee State at home. So it's like it's a favorable-ish. You have a couple games in there, Kansas at home. Then again, Michigan State, Kentucky. You got a few, but for the most part, and then they got Ohio State towards the end
It's
of
smart.
yes,
It's
yeah,
smart. It's smart to do it this way. You bring
yeah,
it in when you revamp the entire roster.
yeah.
You can't. It makes it
I
really
don't fault them.
challenging
Yeah,
that much better. So you got to do it because it'll block out the noise. I
yep.
think that helps them get off to a fast start, which they have to, because if they don't, then the noise starts and it's just December is too early to be blocking out fire your head coach noise and distractions and everything else. I really like this team. I think they have depth. I think they have versatility. Um, I think they have enough experience to be really, really good. Guys play hard for them. Say what you want. They
Yep.
play hard for you. They
The
really buy
question
in.
is, like, I like Trimble. I've been a big Trimble
Right,
fan, and he's a
right.
senior. He's a good defender.
Yep.
Not as I always thought he could have the ball in his hands a little bit more to facilitate, but he hasn't
Right.
there. He hasn't. Maybe he will this year because really the Evans kid is more shooter. So maybe it's kind of point guard by committee a little bit
Mhm.
and playmaking by committee because I don't know. Evans, they paid a lot of money to also. And my big question to you is point guard play? And you know what I think of point guard play, and I know what
Right.
you think of point guard play.
Right.
That to me is clear X factor with this Carolina team. Like clear X factor is point guard play. Is it going to be strong enough? Because if it's not, you can have the best bigs in the world, but if you can't get the ball to them, it doesn't matter.
If you haven't heard by now, we have partnered with BetMGM for the season. We'll be using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks, and we'll have special offers for the listeners and the viewers. Download the BetMGM app and sign up using the bonus code FIELD. Deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game, and you'll receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets. Go download the BetMGM app and use the code FIELD today.
I'm higher on Kyan Evans than I think a lot of people are. I like his game, and I think it's because he shoots the ball so well. You just tend to overshadow the rest of his game. And then he played in a system where they were moving the basketball. He didn't have to play like your traditional point guard. Well, let's face it. When you play with Hubert, he's want tempo and pace. So you're not dominating the ball anyway. He's not playing a traditional come down ball screen action. He had to be with those guys, but they just spread and tried to outrun you. They're going to play more inside. Kai and Evans fits this group because of their length, their size, the way they are. They want to play interior. They have some guys on the wing. When Seth wants to throw it ahead, get downhill, you spread out to him, he shoots it. But I think his ability to shoot the ball as well as he does overshadows the rest of this game. I'm not saying he's an elite point guard, but I think he's really darn good. And I think people don't give him enough credit for that. And his ability to shoot the basketball means it's going to open up for everything else. He'll be more effective at Carolina than I think Elliot Cadeau was because of the talent that's around him as well. It's not an indictment on Elliot Cadeau because I think he'll go, Michigan and talent around him, he'll do really well. But for this team, Kyan Evans fits this team better than had Elliot Cadeau come back and been a point guard.
So do you see, obviously Trimble we know is going to start.
Yep.
Evans will start.
Yep.
Caleb Wilson, I mean, Visar is going to start. I
both
assume Caleb Wilson will start, but maybe not. It just depends on the hard part of even talented freshmen is how quickly they're going to pick stuff up, right? Like I would think Wilson being a top 5-10 recruit, it would be hard to imagine.
There's no question, Jeff. He starts. One is he starts because he's too versatile defensively in what he does.
Yeah.
What he does, his length. He's an extra rim protector, athlete.
Yep.
He's gonna. They play hard and he wants to get after you. This team, Carolina, struggled last year to get stops. I think they're going to be bigger. They're going to have rim protection. They're going to get after you.
But they can have enough shooting. So if you put Caleb Wilson and Visar, neither one are guys that are going to extend to three. Right. They can make mid-range shots. Trimble, not a shooter, not really a shooter.
No.
So you're really looking at Kyan Evans as your primary shooter. Does that fifth guy, and maybe it is like a Derek Dixon.
It's got to be Luka Bokovic, right? It's got to be him. He's got to be. Is he the fifth starter?
Maybe.
I think freshmen are capable of making shots.
Yeah.
You're talking about Jaden Young coming off the bench. From Virginia Tech. He played well down the stretch for these guys. He's one of those guys. At Greensboro Day, that can come up. I like their depth. I like who they are. Ken Powell from West Virginia, can step up and make shots. They got guys that can make shots. The problem is going to be, I think they're going to have to play more. I don't want to say which would be unique, almost like a throwback style, the way Carolina's played in the sense with the athleticism, but playing inside a little bit more, maybe more inside out than they've had in years past. But they got the size to be able to do that. And more importantly, I think they're just going to be better defensively than they've been in definitely last year.
Yeah, and you mentioned Bogovic and Montenegro kid who's 21 years old. 21 years old. So, yeah, and he can shoot it. He's got good size. So maybe he is the guy. But I do think they have solid depth. I just worry about their backcourt this year and point guard play in particular. I think the clear X factor for me is Evans. Who is it for you?
It has to be him because, and then who else helps? So who else? Who is it? Is the backup? Is it Dixon?
Yeah.
Who's the backup guard beyond that, and who else starts? I mean, who's in that rotation, right? That backcourt rotation with
probably Dixon. Dixon's probably going to play some minutes at both guard spots. I would assume.
We'll see. Isaiah can score. We've seen him, but he's a freshman, but he'll have his moments. You can question the experience of those guys in the backcourt, but again, they'll be better. I think they'll be much better, and I like this scheduling. It allows them a tough time to get it together, be solid, win games early. And then I just thought, last year they lost some close when they battled, and then the snowball fell over, and the outside noise just becomes too much.
And all right, so what is? I'm going to phrase it a little differently. What does Hubert Davis need to do this year in order to be good to come back a year from now?
I think he'll be fine. They'll finish in the top 3, 4 in the ACC for sure. They'll be right there with a chance to win it. The league will be significantly better than it's been, I think, in years past. Yeah. So we won't have to worry about that. And I think they'll be on top. This team will get into the top 15 and 20, and I think they'll stay there all year. I don't think
do they have to? All right. My question to you would be, let's say they are top 15, 20 all year, top 25 all year.
Right.
They get in the tournament and they lose in the first round. Do they have to win Also, do they have to be
I,
relevant
I
in the
just think
regular season?
they can't be upset, right? They can't get in the tournament as a fifth seed and then lose in the first round. Like that can't happen. You don't want that to happen. And again, it just can't be the roller coaster. Like the Carolina fans are just tired of the roller coaster ride. You can make the argument, like if you're not a Hubert Davis fan, you can come up with every metric you want and say, hey,
Right.
this isn't Carolina, whatever you want to say. Bottom line is like we talked about, every team in this league will take his results except Duke.
Yep.
Every team. And anyone says they're not, they're lying. Because no one else has the national run, tournament 3 and 4 years, because not many other teams have that resume.
Right.
They don't even have three tournament appearances in 4 years. So
Yep.
if he can just be consistent, be really good, I think they can get a top five seed. They just can't lose in the 12-5 round. It just can't be
Right.
the roller coaster ride.
You
We
have to be
can't, like I
consistent.
said,
You have to be
just
consistent
be
in the regular
consistent.
season.
Yes.
Probably win at least one tournament game
Yes.
in the
Yes.
real bracket.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Not in the
And they
first
will,
four.
Jeff. That's why I think they will. I think they
So
will.
give
I
me your
think
grade. Give me your offseason grade for Carolina.
I'm
I
gonna
mean,
give them a
I'm,
B minus. I'm gonna give them a B minus. I'm higher on them than I think a lot of you are because I think they're gonna be. I think they're gonna be significantly better than people give them credit for, and everybody's sitting there watching. I don't think they're gonna have the ebb and flow. Again, I think sometimes it's just the results of the outside noise and the expectations of Carolina. And has he been as good as Duke? He has not. I think they all would figure that out. But I think that's a collective group, university wise. That's why, Jeff, I'll add this. That's why I also think someone was intentional when putting out how much it costs to put this roster together.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Where it's like, hey, we did our part.
Yep.
We put the green, we put 14 million behind this roster. It's like to say we did our part, Hubert. This is on you. This
Which
is
it
on you.
is.
It
Which it
no, it
is.
is.
And
It
here's
is.
what I'll say.
It
Here's
is.
why I would give him a C plus. Because if you told me this roster, if you didn't tell me the name of the name of the program,
Mhm.
and you read me this roster, and you said it's a 10, 12 million dollar roster, whatever it is, and then you told me it was Carolina's roster, I would say, man, they should have done more. Now I know, again, it's a little bit harder now. Hubert doesn't have as much momentum as probably he would like or fans would like, but it comes down to money for the most part right now, doesn't it? I like what they did getting Visar early. I like that one. I like
Okay.
Caleb. I like every move other than I wish they had gotten a high level proven point guard. And there were some out there to be able to get. That was my big thing. That is not the area you want to
Ooh,
have
I can't wait.
question mark.
I'm gonna play your clip back when we go to the next team because I'm gonna take that clip and I'm gonna put it on the next team and I'm gonna hit play and I want you to answer that
I
comment on the
know.
next team we talk about.
Well, I want to play that back later in the year. I want to
Yeah,
play that back later in the year because one of us is going to be right here.
right, right.
I'm not I'm not saying like, hey, Kyan Evans, he might be the guy there. He might be perfect. He might fit in. I think there's a lot of questions to be answered. And that's an evaluation that ultimately will probably determine Hubert Davis's future
Right.
in Chapel Hill, right?
It will. But again, I think it will. There's no question. It can't be a roller coaster ride. It can't be an upset, and I don't think they will have that.
Yeah.
I think they'll be fine. There'll be
Do you
stability.
think your your prediction of Carolina, tell me if I got it wrong here, is
Mhm.
again, second, third, fourth in the ACC,
Top four. Yep.
top 25 all year,
Yep.
and then they win a game or two in the NCAA tournament?
I think that's their season.
Okay, that's
And I think that's good. And I think that's good enough to say, okay,
not great, but it's
it's
good
not
enough.
great. It's not great. No one's looking at this roster saying this is like Duke a year ago and this is national championship roster. Nobody's saying that. This is a complete makeover. Like all of this is they're like everyone else. We had to revamp it. They're like Virginia. They're like Kent. It's like, hey, we got to make a change. And they did that. I thought they did a really good job of doing that. Um, you and I are big on point guard play, and not everybody has elite point guard play because it ain't a whole lot of elite point guards.
But you're Carolina, you should be able to get one.
I
No?
think well, we can
Especially
say
with
the
the way
same.
they play. RC, you can sell a point guard and like, hey, we are going to play fat. We're not playing with two bigs anymore. We're going to run and gun. And even when they play with two bigs, Roy ran.
True. True.
I don't know. Anyway, all right. RC gives him a B minus. I give him a
Yep.
C plus. I certainly think there's some question marks as there have been for the last couple of years with North Carolina. I hope they win. We all like Hubert Davis. It would be good if Carolina can get back to being the old Carolina, which is kind of knowing what to expect in Chapel Hill every year, every game. There you have it. Field of 68 offseason grades. Make sure you watch. Make sure you subscribe. We're doing about 40 of these in the offseason. So every team you can think of, we'll give them a grade. So check in when you can.